Okay, it's March 18th, 2020. Let's talk about nitrogen dioxide concentration and a possible connection to corona spread in Italy. Now, Italy is the epicenter of the European corona pandemic right now, and these cases are concentrated in northern Italy in the Po Valley, mostly in the region of Lombardy around Milan. That's a industrialized region, and also recently ESA showed these satellite measurement images of nitrogen dioxide, NO2. And the story is how these valleys declined over Europe as a result of the shutdown and the decrease in traffic in the industry, which is obviously undisputed. But what they really showed was a unusually high concentration of nitrogen dioxide in the month of January and February, which then declined in March during the shutdown. Now, as I said, the Po Valley is an industrialized region, but this is how it usually looks like. NO2 concentrations are much higher over Western Germany, Benelux, Netherlands, and southern England. That's Moscow, Israel. That's another annual mean concentration of NO2 in Europe. It's extremely large concentrations in January and February compared to the rest of Europe are very unusual. Now, nitrogen dioxide causes respiratory illnesses such as asthma and can cause complications in other respiratory illnesses. Nitrogen dioxide can also convert to ozone in the summertime and cause further respiratory problems, especially in cities. But that shouldn't have an influence in the winter, even in Italy. Now, throughout the last couple of weeks, several people told me here in Switzerland they had this sore throat and a dry cough, this itching throat, and they weren't sure if they had a light version of the coronavirus disease, but without the fever. And also, when I went to the Alps last month or so, I noticed this smell of ozone. I'm well familiar with ozone, and I recognize the smell of typical ozone, like laundry and fresh rain, but not the bacterial earthy type, but the ozone smell of fresh rain up in the Alps. What could have caused this extreme concentration at the beginning of the year in this region exactly? We can see the concentration even extends into the Adriatic Sea where there is no pollution, which is unusual because other centers do not have a westward tail in the prevailing wind direction. If these excess amounts of NO2 in January and February were from the usual artificial sources like cars and industry, then North Italians would have used their cars many times more and fire up their industry by maybe tenfolds in this time frame for this to happen. There are also potential natural contributions. NO2 is introduced into the environment by natural causes, including entry from the stratosphere, bacterial respiration, volcanoes, and lightning. Now, for the stratosphere. That's going to be interesting in the context of the grand solar minimum, which we have most likely entered, and the very drastic changes in solar activity we have seen in recent years. I'm gonna keep you posted on developments on that, but this would of course not explain these clusters of concentrations of NO2 in certain regions. But the Po region is although an earthquake region, but doesn't have active volcanoes, only a few extinct ones, very old ones. In the west, another epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic is Iran, which is also a usually seismic active region. At this point, I haven't found any evidence that the same concentrations of nitrogen oxide was measured over the Wuhan area at the time of outbreak, but I'm still trying to get better data and keep you posted. Bye.